morning, everyone. A cold May morning. It's supposed to be spring, but it feels more like winter. I've had a few viewers ask me in the comments about this tractor. So today, I'm going to give you a little walk around, show you how it's set up for logging. The tractor is a Massey Ferguson MF 30. You can kind of see the 30 right there. With the loader attachment, it's called an MF 34. It was made in the early 70s, probably 73, 74, somewhere around there. These yellow machines were the industrial models. This one was originally a backhoe. The backhoe was taken off and a Farmi winch was put on the back. I'll show you that in a little bit. My grandfather bought the tractor when I was just a kid, actually a teenager. He bought it used. It was well used when he got it. He never used it much. Then my dad took over. He put on the Farmi winch, used it for many years as a logging machine. A few years ago, I took over, brought it out here to my place. I've been using it ever since. So this is a third generation tractor after it was already well used. This Farmi winch has been nothing but great. It's the 501 model. We've been running it on here for decades now and have had no problems with it until recently. I had a bearing go out in it this winter. Farmi, I called them, or I called Northeast Implement, the dealer. They gave me the part. Well, they didn't give it to me. They sent it to me for a lot of money, but it was relatively easy to install. Now since I was in there, I just replaced all the bearings. The original clutch surface looks like new. There are very few parts in it. There's hardly anything to go wrong with them, so it should be good now for maybe a couple more decades. It attaches to the tractor with a standard 3-point hitch, runs off the PTO, has these chains that go across ways just to stabilize it, keep it from moving back and forth. I have a 7/16 cable on here. I think it's 165 feet. I also have another one that's maybe 212 feet that I can put on if I really want to reach out far. When that thing's on here, it really fills up the drum and there's not as much power that way. So I keep the 165 on there most of the time. I like the 7/16 inch cable. I think the 3/8 is too small. After they wear a little bit, it's easy to break them. The 7/16 is just a nice size for handling. It has a blade on the bottom. It's not the best blade, but it gets the job done. It's good for pushing things out of the way, pushing slash. I even use it for spreading gravel and it works okay. It has this block on the bottom so you can pull the line out. Hook it on there and get a lower pull. Also, my dad or grandpa or somebody put this trailer hitch on here. I find it to be more in the way than anything. I may take it off. These winches come with a setup for using chains for chokers, but the chains have all been long lost. But I just find the standard tried and true chokers work well out here. Now the operator's seat is a custom job modified by a bear who decided to come in here one winter and tear it up. The seat was in good shape until the bear decided to, I don't know what it was after in there. Just ornery, that's what it is, just ornery. Maybe one day I'll tell you the story about how some wasps built a nest in this hole and how I sat down on it not knowing that some wasps built a nest in this hole. That'll be a good story. The engine is a 4-cylinder Perkins diesel, very reliable engine. This tractor can be sitting out for weeks or months. It can be sitting out all winter. As long as it has a good battery and a good connection, you just hit the key and it starts right up, just as if it had been running 15 minutes ago. Just always starts every time. Except I think it was about 2 years ago, I started it up. Then about I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute later, it quit. First time that ever happened, or anything like that ever happened. I thought, that was weird. I cranked on it some more, it wouldn't start. I knew something was really wrong. With some help from the guys on the heavy equipment forum, I diagnosed it to being a bad injection pump. I am no mechanic, but I decided I'm going to try to fix this thing myself. I took the injection pump out. Someone told me I should have the injectors tested because sometimes a bad injector can cause the pump to go bad. In order to get to the injectors, I had to take off the whole hood, the fuel tank. By the time the injectors were out, I had fuel lines scattered all over the place, washers, bolts, parts. I thought, there is no way I'm going to get this thing put back together in a way to where it's going to run again. But after I got it put back together, I bled the system, hit the key, and I was almost startled that the thing actually started up. I always had the idea diesel fuel injection systems were fairly complicated. Maybe there was even some voodoo involved with them, but they're actually pretty simple. Even I was able to get it running again. This was originally a backhoe. Came with a bucket on the front. The problem with the bucket is it was really big, and without the backhoe on the back, it was hard to pick anything up with it. Since this was going to be a logging machine, log forks made more sense. I'm guessing my grandpa built this. I don't know, I wasn't there. I was probably sitting in school being bored. It's also possible my uncle may have built it too, but I think his welds would have been nicer than these ones. This looks more like a grandpa job. Grandpa was a good welder, but my uncle, these welds are really nice. I'll give you a close-up of how it was built. Slots on the top to put a chain in. Has that on both sides. Little T there for putting a choker on. I don't know what these things on either side of it were for. These holes come in handy for when I want to put a trailer ball on it and move a trailer. It looks like the ends of these were cut off with the torch, maybe after it was built. Maybe it used to be longer, but they decided shorter was better. From the end of the gusset, it's 17 inches. From back here, it's 22 inches. Sometimes I do wish they were a little bit longer, but I think sometimes the longer ones would get in the way for handling logs. Having a grapple on here would be really handy, so you could grab the logs. They can be clumsy for trying to pick up logs, especially on uneven surfaces, but it's what I have and it works fine. It's an old tractor. I figure one of these days something major is going to break on it to where it's just not worth fixing it. But until then, it does a fine job. It's kind of a clumsy tractor. It's got 3 gear shifts. Sometimes I feel like I have to be an octopus trying to run all those levers, but it gets the job done. Well, that's enough talking. Let's pull a log out with it, load it on the trailer. I'll demonstrate how it works. Look what I just found. A couple little morel mushrooms that just popped up. Before I load this log onto the trailer, I'm going to peel the bark off because it has all this sand on it. The story of why there's sand here, that's another story for another time. This tree's dead, so the bark should peel off really easy. I'm going to use this technique that makes it really quick and easy. Watch this. Ta-da! That was easy. I don't know why more people don't use that technique. Well, that's it for this video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll have more logging with the tractor videos. I'm going to take these up to the sawmill. Then I'm going to go eat lunch. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.